Canadian cardinals say they consider the new Catholic Pope a compassionate man of the word and that they are not focusing on his nationality. The cardinals spoke for the first time since they left the Conclave, where elected American Robert Francis Prevost has taken the new name Leo XIV. CTV's Geneviève Boschman met with the cardinals in Rome today.
Pope Leo XIV led the first full mass of his papacy. And the first American pope began his homily in English.
You have called me to carry that cross and to be blessed with that mission.
This after speaking Italian and Spanish when he was first introduced to the world at St. Peter's Square yesterday.
We pray together, we share, we walk together, we have coffee and donuts and good Italian pastries.
Quebec Cardinal Gérard Lacroix says he has spent some time with the new pope and that he has the qualities needed to unite the church and speak to the world.
You get to see who this man is. You see how he is with others. He talks with everybody.
But pilgrims and tourists milling about on St. Peter's Square were abuzz with news of Leo XIV's nationality today.
I think the fact that he's the first American pope is very exciting, and I hope that the Italians feel the same way.
Not all do, and many analysts had concluded a U.S. pontiff from a military and economic superpower was unthinkable. But Canadian cardinals say he is a universal man who has worked as a missionary in Peru, lived in Rome, and traveled the world.
I don't think anyone really thought of him as an American.
Cardinal Thomas Collins is the retired Archbishop of Toronto.
I don't think anyone thought, the person I'm voting for who is an American.
This was Cardinal Collins' second conclave, 24 hours and 21 minutes. That's how long the cardinals were secluded. A time of deep reflection, say Canada's cardinals, who felt the weight of responsibility as they voted in the Sistine Chapel.
A ritual that is steeped deep in history and yet has a great significance for people today.
The inaugural Mass in honor of the new Pope is expected to take place on March 18th here at St. Peter's Square. That's expected to be packed once again. Geneviève Boschman, CTV News, Vatican City.
And a day after his election, the new pope is being celebrated by London Catholics. CTV's Bryan Bicknell tells us many believe he will continue in the path of progress set by his predecessor, Pope Francis.
As noon Mass at St. Peter's Cathedral Basilica gets underway, Aidan Goulart rejoices in the new pontiff. The 21-year-old says he watched with anticipation as Cardinal Robert Prevost became Pope Leo XIV.
Well, one thing that struck me the most was there was kind of that brief kind of silence up there in the balcony, and the whole crowds are roaring. And he's holding back tears, and you can just see all the emotion.
The 69-year-old Pope Leo was born in Chicago, Illinois, and becomes the first American pope.
He just had that look of patience, which we need. He had that look about him that you could talk to him and he would answer anything that you wanted to know.
Bishop Ronald Fabro of the London Diocese says he believes Pope Leo will continue the work of Pope Francis before him.
Particularly the emphasis on our church being there for the poor and the marginalized. He's spoken yesterday. Pope Leo XIV spoke very strongly about being that type of missionary church that is walking with our people and close to our people.
There's also a connection between the London Diocese and Pope Leo, as the would-be Pope spent several years serving in Peru. Fabro says that's where some members of the diocese crossed paths with him.
He was a missionary in Peru, worked among the poor there. They said that he was a humble man, a man who was very close to the people as their priest and bishop.
And while many Catholics are hopeful that Pope Leo will follow the same progressive path as Pope Francis, there are still those in the faith who are not comfortable with that direction. Francois Renaud counts himself among them.
As far as being a good pope, that'll remain to be seen. If he doesn't stick to the old scriptures and how things were done in the past.
As for Aidan Goulart, he has faith in the future of the Catholic Church under Pope Leo.
I was filled with kind of hope and love. It was like, I remember saying to myself, Christ, I think you've given us a good Pope, and that's all we can kind of pray for and want out of this conclave.
Bryan, Bicknell, CTV News.